see a difference and don't know what it is. That's all. You'll get a lot of negative answers to questions. And there just isn't any. God had to make, he had to make corruption. Otherwise, you wouldn't have had a choice. You wouldn't have had free will. And you have free will. I don't care how many stripes you get with a whip. It's you allowing it. Why would you do that? When you're told that if you turn to me, I'll turn to you, why wouldn't you do that? It's really just a simple matter. It really is. Because look at it this way. You can choose the words you use to create your future. And you're doing that anyway, whether you're aware of it or not. But that's what we're here for, is to make you aware, is that you're actually choosing the future you're experiencing. You chose it, see? You may not have known that you were doing so because you weren't paying attention to what you were allowing yourself to talk to yourself about. And just listen to sometime when you're upset or angry about something. Just listen to what comes to you immediately if it's anger. Okay? But the thing of it is, if it's a lovely thing and a good report, you have to think about that a little while. I don't know why that is, but anger, you don't have to think about nothing, just being angry.
It's true.
And getting reinforcements. You keep, no, yeah, you do. You keep getting in reinforcements, giving you more and more and more reasons to justify what you're doing. And that's all you're doing is justifying yourself, which is denying yourself because you're justified in denying yourself because it happened to you. No, it happened through you. And that's the difference that makes the difference. And I'm not kidding you. You're always on. Take that for, tell them. Isn't that right?
That's absolutely correct. That's it. You said something earlier, and I just want to touch on it. You were talking about your say is a valid say, and you said, you got your say going here, you got your say going here. I just saw a valid say being splattered all over the place, but it's true.
Yeah, it is. And like I said, I can snap my fingers and be in a different mood.
Mm-hmm.
But do I do it with a pleasant mood? See, that's what you're doing this all the time. You're on all the time. You're doing to yourself what you're experiencing through your own talking, suggesting from your mind, hey, it's all in here. Every bit of it, it's all right here. Consciousness of being, it's God. Consciousness of being something that's this way of humanity. But it's still God.
Still got it.
But he's playing his dream thing with you. See? Just, I'm with you always. Well, it always would be right here, right now, right? I
Absolutely.
mean, it's that simple. I'm with you always, always. I, yeah, I had a hard time with that. As a matter of fact, I had a hard time with most of it because I expected it to be difficult and hard to get into, and I'd read it and read it and read it. And then one time I was reading it, and those just jumped out at me, 4 or 5 words, and and then again and again and again, and they're always just 4, 5, 6 words. That's all it takes. And at that moment, doors open, took it in readily. You're always thinking ahead of your evidence, so What are you thinking? Well, that's not a difficult question to ask you. What are you thinking? I mean, come on. And if you don't know what you're thinking and you are thinking all the time, that could, that wouldn't be wise. I can't see any wisdom in that at all. And the thing of it is, even when you goof it up, you still don't get it. And you goof it up again, and you still don't get it. And a whole lifetime might be spent doing absolutely nothing. And that's what you'll see it as when you get to a certain age.
Nothing. Solomon would agree with you. He called it vanity.
But you have to understand, like I said, all the great minds wrote books. Put it all down in writing or printing later on. But they're right there, right in front of you. You're on all the time, and it's right there all the time. What are you waiting for to connect what you're saying with what you're doing? Because that's exactly what it is. And you're told you're praying ceaselessly, and that all prayer is answered. Yeah, yeah, you're really stuck in something there. I won't even tell you what it is, but you're stuck in something. It's as you think you are, period. Come on. Why would he say that if it wasn't true? And you don't believe it, so to you it isn't true.
Absolutely.
Why? Because you don't believe it. You don't believe God. Well, I believe in God. No, that's not the question. Do you believe God? He gave you. Choose this day. And you're doing so multiple times, really, in one day. That's it. You get so double-minded, you know. You, you hear something and you say, oh, that's worthy of my attention. Then it comes up once in a while as in your attention, but you still don't do it. See, now is the only time there is. And you either do it now or you don't do it. That's it. And then you blame God for the problems you have. And that ain't wise either. He's not vindictive, though. He'll let you run off at the mouth, though. And that's all you're doing. If you're not paying attention to what you're saying, you're just running off at the mouth. Attitude. Have you ever actually given any attention to what attitudes you have? Or are you just denying them altogether? Yeah, I did that for years. Yeah, I I, I did exactly what Neville said. There's only heaven and hell. Choose. And, and I thought, wow, and that was the only that was the only statement he made that really boom, it like went back and forth across that secret light. You are the light of the world. Lighten up. That's all you're asked to do. Just lighten up. Really listen to what you're talking to yourself about. That's lightening up. You don't have to believe me. Test it. Hey, and you're going to do so. I don't know when. It could be 20, 30, 40, 50, 160 miles down the road. But you're going to do it. Do what? Understand that you're in charge and you're to take charge. because you're still running the show even if you're out of charge. And you see that every day. Shootings here and shootings there and shooting. It's somebody being nosy in somebody else's business. That's all it is. He has a right to be who he says he is, and you must respect that. And he must respect that too. Look, look, you're judging yourself all the time. You're always judging yourself in little ways and in big ways. It becomes habitual. You make a habit out of finding your faults and bragging about them. No, no kid. I've heard that so many times. They're actually bragging, and you wonder why I don't go in crowds. You get in a little crowd, you want to get a dozen people or so, and they're mingling around talking. I've heard so many diseases discussed to being gory about it. You know, you know, you see, they're unaware of what they're thinking because thinking makes it so. What you're afraid of, you experience. So, all you have to do is worry about something. You worry about it, brings it about. It's that simple. Because your say is a valid say, and you're about saying your valid say, just kind of check up once in a while at least at what you're saying with your valid say. Because not to do so is not wise. I mean, no, it's not wise. No, it isn't. because I did the not wise thing plenty of times, and then denied the whole thing. I was good at that. I was justifying everything I do. Self-justification, voice of hell. That's what Neville said, and repeatedly so. But why? You're told to bring heaven on earth. If you're experiencing hell on earth, then there's something wrong with your conversations. Self. And that's with self. See, that's you can think of 1,000 things. You don't think about self. I hurt myself. Yeah, yeah. You got an itch here. It gets your attention. What has your attention is your life. As your life. That's what you're experiencing. That's what you're acting out. And Shakespeare said it. All the world is a stage, and all the men and women are merely actors. This is a virtual reality. It's out of the mind of man. You get that? Out of the mind of man. God must not have been concerned with what man would do because he didn't put any parameters on that whatsoever. In other words, whatsoever means whatsoever. And just sit and think about that word. Just think about that word, whatsoever. Are there any restrictions there? And there weren't any put on any of it. You're a total free individual. You can do whatever you think about. That's what you're doing. That's what you're being. That's what you're having. I had a half a dozen of Neville's tapes, and I listened to them
at least one every night for years before it actually touched base. I began thinking differently. The importance of having a CD, because what has your focus has your life. Think about it. We're not asking you to join anything, but you have to have the CDs. You have to have the DVDs. You have to listen to them. It's you training this. Listen, listen, listen.
But as Mr. Lindell stated, you have to listen to them repeatedly. And again, for those who are interested, click the link below and it will take you to the 4 CD set, and you'll be able to transform not only your mind, but your world.